Good evening, viewers. You are welcome to Woman Without Limits. You're not limited at all. Nothing can limit you. I want you to know not even the devil can stop you. So please don't stop yourself. Stop giving yourself excuses. You can do it. You're a woman without limits, and I will see you at the top. Okay? We bring you amazing stories, and today it's not going to be different. It's going to be amazing. I have with me a friend of mine. We'll tell you how we met. This is so hilarious, amazing. Her name is Faith, and Faith has come a mighty long way to be where she is today. Faith, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
And Kwani, you came to now compete with me. I'm the host. What is this? See the way you look.
Oh, glory to God.
You look lovely, and I think you have the
us.
best teeth.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Faith, do you remember how we met?
Yes, I do.
Tell me.
I do. Yes, one of the days we had gone to play golf at Windsor, and I remember alighting with my husband, and I thought about you, and I said, Reverend Kathy comes here to play.
Yeah.
And that was so interesting because after thinking about you, I just see you seated
there.
Can
you imagine? That's what I was saying. It was so funny. So she was thinking about me. So she comes to me in shock and tells me, oh, I was just thinking about you.
Exactly.
I watch you every time. You bless my heart. From wherever I am, I must watch you. And I'm like, wow, okay. Then turns out that we played together that day.
And we really enjoyed.
We were like sisters who had from another mother.
Yes.
But sisters. We really had fun.
Yes.
So wonderful. Karibu sana on this show.
Asante.
The Woman Without Limits.
Thank you.
You know how we've talked before, and the way your story is amazing.
Yes.
But maybe you can just tell somebody who's watching you, who's never seen you, just who Faith is and where you're coming from. You know, where did you grow up, for a few minutes.
Thank you very much for having me. It's really an honor, and I don't take it for granted. And truly, you have blessed so many ladies out there and many other people. So I don't take it for granted. I'm grateful for this opportunity that you've given me.
Amen.
Yes, so Faith Jemtai Rono, that's my maiden name.
Yes.
Was born 50 years ago in Wasingishu County. Yes, to a wonderful couple who are born again and love the Lord, and raised in a Christian atmosphere and a strict AIC home.
From the beginning? From
the beginning.
Wow.
Yes, yes. And I want to thank God for my parents, because really they have been very strong figures in my life. And we've been talking about dads. I think Dad has always been there for me. Wow. and the rest of my siblings. Yeah. And I just really want to appreciate my parents, because they really instilled so many things in my life and my siblings. I'm a firstborn among 4 children, and I'm grateful. That's and you know awesome. How a firstborn is, you're always like the example to everything. Yeah. And when I was born, we're only 11 months difference with my brother.
So he was following you on his heels.
So I really didn't have time to
be a baby.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but I want to thank God for them. They raised us up very well in a strict home, of course, very strict. My dad was an accountant, my mom was a nurse. Yeah. So you can imagine that combination. Yes, there is order with a nurse, cleanliness and all those things. With an accountant, everything is well organized. It's calculated. Organized, yes. So I just want to thank God for them.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. So your father was a present father?
He was a very present father.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. And you can imagine.
Even just mentioning that, I miss my own dad, because he was so present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very present. And you can imagine my mom was a nurse. She would go for night duty, and we would be left with him. He would take care of us.
Wow.
He would really take care of us. Yeah. And until now, he's still an amazing father.
Wow.
So I really want to thank God for both of them.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So growing up, your growing up seems to have been easy and good.
Yes, everything went well.
Yeah.
We had a few challenges here and there.
Yeah. Like every other family.
Like any other family.
Yeah.
Yes, everything went well. We want to thank God. And above all, we were taught how to pray. We were taught how to witness.
When you were young?
Yes, my parents, especially my dad, would always go for school ministry.
Right.
Yes, he used to work in a business, in a bookshop. where he would always sell books. And then the best time to sell Christian books was on Sundays, where we would go to schools, go and witness in schools. So we were taught how to sing. We had a choir, the four of us.
In the house?
We had a choir. My mom would organize us and make sure we are singing very well.
Wow.
For Sunday, practicing very well. And would go to schools, especially in the Rift Valley. Yeah, my parents were well known. Yeah, would go to really go and we would sing, would begin the choir, we would sing. And Dad would preach and Mom would give her testimony. So it was like we had like a small evangelical family.
Wow. Right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
That's really nice.
So we know all the hymns, we know all those songs, we were taught all that.
From the time you were little, that's
young.
so beautiful.
Yes.
And you would all do it together.
We'd all do it together.
That I'm sure knit you very well as a family.
Very tightly.
So you were very tightly knit.
We were very tightly knit. We would have our evening devotions together. We would pray. I always remember a billboard in our home. Prayer changes things. And the hands were put like this. So for us, we know the power of prayer. We would have time to pray in the evening. And although we didn't understand much then, because you know the way you do, these are routines in the family.
This is what we do.
Yes. But those little things that you do for your children when they're young, when they grow up, it will be part of their lives.
Isn't it the word? Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he's grown, he will not depart from it. That's amazing. So school was good for you?
Yes, school went well. I began my primary school in UG Primary School in Wasingishu County. And after that, I went to high school, Nakuru High School. I finished.
So is that the first time you moved out and went to a bit far from home?
Yes. But it wasn't too far. Nakuru and Eldoret wasn't too far. And I remember those years we had RVP. So Nakuru High School is actually along the highway. So just a light and just go to school. But most of the time, my parents would make sure they dropped me. I think that was very special, and especially Dad. He would say, no, we have to drop the children.
You are the ones of being dropped.
Yes. I thank God.
You grew up well.
I thank God, yes. But eventually, I started going with RVP. Those years was RVP. Yes. And that everything went well. I finished.
You did well?
I did well. Fairly well. Yes. So I joined Daystar University. And in the process, the school fees ran out. I think you remember those years when private universities came up. They were quite expensive. And at that point, I had to drop out. And I remember my parents taking me to Kericho. I went to do a higher diploma there. And then when I finished, I ended up going to work. I ended up going to teach. Yes, I taught in a school called Testimony School. Yes, for around 6 years. Yes, then after that, I got the opportunity to do my degree. Yes, then I finished my degree.
What degree? What did you do?
I did sociology. Yes, and of course I had electives on psychology. And really I loved the psychology part.
I did psychology. I love psychology.
Yes, so getting to know people and why people behave the way they do. That was a very, very powerful thing for me. And it really helped me understand myself and even where I came from. Yes, and then just to take you back, in Form 2, I gave my life to the Lord when I was in Nakuru High School. Yes, now I became very active in the CU. And just being in the ministry, knowing my background. Yes, and that was easier for me because when I gave my life to the Lord Jesus, it was easy for me. And of course, I remembered the prayer, all those things we were taught.
That's awesome. So you got saved as a little girl.
I did.
As a teenager.
I did.
Did somebody walk with you? Did they help you with your journey? Or you surrounded yourself with friends who were born again?
Yes, I did. I surrounded myself with friends who were born again. And I think those years, the CUs were very powerful in schools.
They need to come back.
Yes, and
we need to have very strong CUs in schools.
Exactly. And this was a mixed school. So Nakuru High School then was mixed. So I remember it was very powerful because we also had the boys as the chairman of the CU, and it was quite a neat community. And we really served the Lord. I remember we would always have our fellowships, go to the nearby schools. So that was quite an experience. Yes.
Wow. Yes. Okay. So fast forward, you've left school.
Yes.
When are you meeting this man?
Yes. So yes, that was which I think 1998. Yes. I had I met this person. And I think sometimes, okay, for me, I didn't really do a background check. Yeah, and I think that is where the mistake began. And you meet this person who is already cleaned up, looking well.
Yeah.
And you begin a relationship as innocent as you are, and you're thinking, oh, wow, this is a nice person.
Yeah.
Yes, and he had a very supportive family. And I think the moment when I met this person, the family was like, oh, he's met a very wonderful girl.
Yeah.
And just fast forward,
Next thing.
we get married.
Yeah.
And 1 year later, I got a baby. Yeah, I got a son.
After a year in marriage?
After a year in marriage.
Right.
Yes, so we were blessed with a son.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later,
yeah.
Unfortunately, he fell sick. Yeah.
The son?
Yes,
Yeah.
he fell sick. After a while, we discovered it was a terminal disease that wasn't going to be cured. And unfortunately, we lost him like maybe 5 months later. That was really, really, really a difficult time for both of us, and especially me.
When he was 5 months old?
He was 3 years.
Oh, he was 3 years?
Yes, he was 3 years, yeah. So I said when he was 2 is when he became sick. Yes, and after so many other tests, we realized that it was a terminal disease. He wasn't going to survive, and that really broke me. Yeah, so I think that is one of the lowest moments in my life, and that wasn't easy. Yes, and I remember crying to the Lord, and really, it wasn't an easy journey. The process of healing was a really difficult time. And I just want to thank God because He healed me. It was a process, yes. And
did you have like
yeah?
Did you have people around you, support systems? Did you go through like professional help, or just the family helped you?
Okay, that time it was only the family. Yeah, and then before then I hadn't really done psychology so that I really understand what I was going through. So I remember, you just have to be strong.
Yeah.
Kitambo naambua vumilia. Utakuwa sawa. Utapata mwingine. That's what they always say. And really, I think that's not the right word to use. Now, you realize that. Yeah, so
because no child can replace another.
Yes. That one was unique the way he was.
Yeah.
Yes, so it wasn't an easy time. And even we stayed, now we continued in the marriage, and that was the beginning of challenges in our marriage. Yeah, and it wasn't easy. We had a difficult time. It was a difficult marriage after that. Things went south. Things weren't easy. Yeah, and of course I remember bringing it to the Lord in prayer and really asking God to save my marriage. I did my very best. And
were you talking to the family?
Yes, I was talking to both families. Yes, and especially his, because now that you're married, you're supposed to concentrate on the other side.
Yeah, right.
Yes, and that's when I realized this background check I talked about hadn't been dealt with. I hadn't really done the background check. And I hadn't really consulted people. I realized now that you have to bring in your pastors, bring in people to really to help you during such a journey. Yeah, before you enter into any marriage. Yeah, so unfortunately, later on, just to cut the long story short, in between things were very difficult, and I realized that I just needed to move my attention somewhere else. So I thank God I got the opportunity to go to the university in the process.
Oh, in the process?
Yes, in the process,
So when the child died,
yes.
Then the marriage became crazy.
Yes.
So you went into university.
I went into university. Yeah, after waiting for a period and praying, and I thought I needed to divert my attention to something else. Yes, so I got, those years we had the mature entry. So I went, began in second year, and I finished my degree, and things were still bad.
In the marriage?
Still bad, yeah.
So it's still not working, no matter?
It's still not working. There are just too many things.
Are you trying counseling?
Yes, I did. Yes, we tried.
With him?
Yes, we tried. And of course, he wouldn't appear in some of those counseling sessions, So
you were alone?
I was alone. Yeah, so I also remember I brought in, I had friends, I had prayer partners. Remember my background of prayer? And just really bringing everything to the Lord in prayer. I had prayer partners, we prayed together. And at one point he moved out of our marital home completely, packed his things and left. It was devastating for me. It was really difficult. And remember, I had been praying. Yes. And
that it works.
Yes.
That God just change him, turn things around, let it work.
Exactly. Let this marriage work. Remember my background, my parents have been together right now for 52 years married. So who am I here to fail in this marriage? Yes, it had to work.
52 years.
It had to work.
52
years.
years.
Yes, 52 years.
So you've
marriage,
seen the kind of marriage you would want yourself.
Yes.
A working marriage,
exactly.
a loving couple,
marriage. Yes.
Together couple.
Together.
So that's what you've grown up in. That's what you've seen.
Yes.
And then this one is breaking.
This one is breaking.
You're like,
it is really hurting me. Yeah, it's really difficult.
You're
and
like
I
me,
also
I'm not
realized,
going to embarrass my family.
Yes, yes. I hung in there knowing that this thing will work. I didn't know it was crushing me psychologically. There was a lot of psychological trauma involved in the whole thing. And I didn't know it was crushing me. And I remember one point, I think that's when I realized there's really something wrong. My parents called me and they told me, Faith, you don't look happy. What's going on? Put the cards on the table. Let's talk about it. And really, I opened up to, I couldn't even open up. I just cried. You know, when you're with your mom and dad, you are yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. So I remember.
Then they saw,
yes.
And I think the most important, and somebody who's watching us will be helped by this, is when somebody notices.
Yes.
I think for me that is the most critical, that somebody noticed that something was wrong.
Yes.
You know, that is the most amazing. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because sometimes you feel so alone, you feel so neglected, you feel like nobody even cares.
Exactly.
So imagine when somebody now comes and tells you, I have seen. That in itself, the healing journey begins.
Exactly.
So if you're with somebody, don't just ignore them, because that's why people are going into depression, people are going into suicidal thoughts, people are killing themselves because nobody is taking notice. Please take note of people around you, people that you love. Notice if something goes off or different, they are behaving in a different manner, please notice. Because you'll help them to come out of that pit. So you started to cry.
I just broke down. And they just knew there's something wrong. And
they touched a nerve.
They did. And I remember my dad and mom, they stood up and they just hugged me. I think I just poured everything. You know, the way you can't put it in words, it was just all tears. Yes, and then of course they let me calm down, and of course I said everything that was going on. And I remember my dad said, one thing he told me, you know, I prefer you. I want you alive the way you are. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Please come home. And that's exactly what I did. Now when this is when he had moved out, and now I didn't even know where to begin. That was really, really, really difficult. Yes. So we took time. A year later, we took time to pray. I had my prayer partners. We tried reconciliation, and he wouldn't appear.
Tried?
Yes, he wouldn't appear for those meetings, and that's when I realized I think it's time to move on. Yes.
So you tried everything you knew to try.
Yes, I did.
So that you don't you don't fail in that area.
Exactly. Yeah. So 1 year later, I realized it's time to move on. And that is when, that was so interesting because during that time I was also graduating. Yes, I had finished the university, I was graduating.
After how long?
After, this was like 3 years. Yes. Yes. So
you finished?
I finished university. Yeah, so that, and then in the process, I got a job. See God.
Wow.
Because I had to resign from teaching so that I could go to the university. In the process, just before my graduation, I got a job. Yes.
But what's so beautiful even about the whole thing is that your parents embraced you.
Exactly.
And they told you it's okay. And sometimes it's good to just embrace somebody who's going through a tragedy that they didn't create or cause. And an outsider may not understand. They may look and think, look at this one. But they don't know the depth.
They don't know the depth
of what you are going through. So I'm glad. Then you finished university.
I finished university. I got the job. Things started looking up. And I remember, so one of the times my dad and mom called me and they said, you know, if this marriage has ended, it had better end properly. You know, there should be a finality. It shouldn't just, you know, just
be there.
Linger. Yes. So of course after that, everything happened and it ended now officially. And I think that is when the depression came in. Of course, you are dealing with two things. I realized I hadn't dealt with the death of my son. And I had it, and then, you know, an end of a marriage is a loss. So you have these two big losses. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but by the grace of God, I went through counseling. Yeah, and I realized that counseling is also very important.
That's powerful, and that's why I was asking whether it's just family or did you go through therapy, because it's so important.
It is.
And after doing psychology is when you understand the depth of getting professional help.
Yes.
Because sometimes you even think you've dealt with it, but you haven't.
I hadn't.
Yeah.
So of course I went through sessions and I realized I hadn't dealt with it. And of course, in the first few sessions, it's only tears coming out. And eventually, when you talk about it, is when now the healing begins. Yeah. So I had a period of, almost like 3 months to do all the counseling. And of course, the journey was one step at a time. The healing was one step at a time. And again, I was very cautious. And I told myself I really needed to get busy during this season when I'm all alone. And I decided to go back and do my master's. I went to school.
Hello.
I went to school.
So what you're telling a girl who is watching right now, don't die. Don't die, please. Don't die in the pain. Come out.
Exactly. Pick up your pieces.
Pick up your pieces.
Yes, pick up your broken heart. Patch it up.
Patch it up.
God will heal.
God will continue healing you.
With the journey.
Right. So don't stop.
Exactly.
Because it will kill you.
It will kill me.
If you stop and go into that hole.
Exactly.
And the hole of depression can take you very, very far inside.
It's true.
That coming out becomes virtually impossible.
Exactly.
So it's very important. Do something with your life.
Do something with your life.
So you did masters. Girl, you are not joking.
And I had a business. I think those years, I think, you know, in our home area in Wasingishu County and Rift Valley generally, we love celebrating, we love weddings. I realized people hire plates for functions, the chefing dishes, and I began that business. And I didn't know I could make money. So I got busy. I got busy doing that. That became my side hustle apart from working. So I never had time, absolutely. And another thing I did is to get into, I was very serious with God. I was serious in church. And there's something called home fellowships. I got involved with home fellowships. These are especially in the area where you live in. I remember I lived in Elgon View, so I had home fellowships. So that is the best. It's a smaller church where you get to know one another, and you have Bible studies. So I had no time. I was busy. My business, my work, and again I had time with my family. I had time with my mom and dad. Yes, and I thought I should really just be there for them and to help them. And every time they would check on me, they would always call me, how are you doing? How is everything? And of course, they saw their daughter coming back. And they were like, oh, finally we have you.
The jovial, happy girl.
Yes. So I thank God. This is 7 years down the line now.
7?
I had 7 years to really heal, have time with my God.
It's 7 years.
7 years down the line. I even had an opportunity to go to Israel, which was the turning point of my life. I remember that was really powerful for me. Yes, it was. And then, you know, in Israel, you actually walk where Jesus walked. For me, that was
healing.
It was very, very therapeutic to me.
Right.
And I remember when I went to Israel is when I got the desire in my heart again. And I said, hey, I think I can love again. I think I can be a wife again. I didn't understand why that feeling came. Yes, but I prayed about it. I left it to the Lord and I told God, you know, my heart, you know, I really wanted my marriage. I didn't want my marriage to end. And I know you are a God who can give a second chance.
You started praying?
Yes, I started praying. That desire just came from nowhere.
When you went to Israel?
Yes.
Oh my
I had that desire.
Did you tell anyone or you just?
Yes, I had it between God and I.
Yeah.
And you know, in Israel, there's a place called the Wailing Wall.
Yes.
Yes, I think you've heard about it.
Yes, yes.
So many people bring their prayer requests and they put them in between the wall because there are places you can place your prayer requests there. And I remember that was it became a very burning desire in me, and I'm thinking, hey, Faith, are you okay? But I realized later on that God was putting that desire in me.
Yeah.
And that was really, really, really powerful. And then I came back to Kenya. So when
So you left that prayer request there?
Yes.
Of marriage?
Yes. And I didn't know how. You know, there you are thinking, at this age, will this ever happen?
Yeah,
I think that time I was turning, I think I was 44.
Yeah.
Yes. 44, 45.
45.
Yeah, but I knew nothing was impossible with God.
Yes.
And so that was the scripture that I walked around with. Yes, if he could heal me, if he could take me through what I went through, If he could heal me, I knew there's nothing impossible with God.
He could do anything.
Yes, yes.
So you started praying in that direction.
I started praying in that direction. Surprisingly, I remember my prayer partners that I had.
Yeah.
I talked to them. They looked at me and they were in shock. I said, nothing is impossible with God.
And you said now you are ready for marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when the Lord heals you from the inside, it even reflects in the outside. Things started changing for me. I remember at my place of work, I moved from the department I was in. I became a hospital administrator. Yes, and that was an experience and a half.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Which hospital?
Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret.
In Eldoret.
It was an experience for me.
Yeah.
And from that experience also I gained the confidence to go to ICU. You know, you have to check everywhere.
Yeah.
Until even the mortuary, I remember God giving me all that confidence.
Yeah. And
back, I remember my mom would always say, no, nobody's going to the hospital profession. Well, like, hey, mama, pana, nursing. I remember that's what would always say.
Yeah.
Later on, she told me, look, you're in the hospital. This is exactly what I wanted one of my children to do. And that was so amazing.
Yeah.
That was so amazing.
Yeah.
And I realized also every experience I had, God knew. God knew everything. And he was using every experience.
Because he knew where he was taking you.
He knew where he was taking
me. He knew the
me.
steps.
Exactly.
Where he was going to end you.
Where he's going to take me.
My goodness. So,
yes.
Now you get to meet this other man. What happened? How you were praying?
Yes, after that prayer from Israel, remember?
Yeah.
So, of course, it took time. And I had this friend. I had this friend who... We had been many friends for a very long time, and she knew my past life. She knew my previous marriage, and she knew me now. And we happened to be working in Moi Teaching and Referral together. And one day she told me something. She told me a story about somebody who lost a wife, and I was so touched. And I told her, we will pray for that man to get a wife. Yeah. Oh, this is so difficult. Yeah. And she told me all the challenges that we're going through. There's a grandchild in the process, yes, and I remember it really touched my heart, and I said, oh no, we will pray together. Yes, we'll pray with you, and we believe God is going to give him somebody. Yeah. Yeah. And we stopped that story, and later on she told me, remember that story I was telling you about? I'm like, yes, tell me the good news. So she tells me, okay, I want to introduce you to this gentleman. I said, no. Yeah. No, we are praying for a wife for him. We are praying for a wife for him. So how do you introduce me to... Yeah, so of course it was a tussle. After a while, later on she called me to her house. She was having guests. Yeah. Yes, and she told me to come and help her. Yeah. And as a friend, I'm like, yeah, I'm here to help you serve.
Of course, a friend must help a friend.
Yes, yes. Yes, so when I walk into this sitting room and I see this gentleman standing, and he shook my hand. Yeah. And honestly, I didn't know who he was, and I was introduced to him. Yeah. Yeah. And when I looked at him properly, I was thinking, I think I've seen him in the screen. Yeah. I've seen him on TV. I wasn't too sure. Yeah. Yes, but it was a wonderful evening. The four of us, my friend and his husband, and her husband, sorry, and we had nice dinner. Yeah. We talked generally, and I was just thinking, oh my, I'm so touched. Yeah. Such a humble, gentleman here. Yes. So we finished the dinner, and I went back to my house. Yeah. So later on, my friend calls me back, and she says, you know, somebody's asking for your number, and I'm like, what? What do you mean my number? And of course, I went into denial quickly. Then that night, God reminded me, what did we pray about in Israel?
What did you live in Israel? Speaking to the walls.
Yes.
Wailing walls. Yes. Wailing walls.
Wailing walls.
Hold that thought right there.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, man.
You are watching Woman Without Limits.
Oh, man. So, she spoke about being introduced to you. What did you think about her when you met her?
Yes, maybe even before I met her.
Yeah.
Initially, when I lost my wife, for me it was it. I was not going into marriage again. That was what...
Final.
That was final.
Yeah. You were not even thinking about it.
I was not thinking about going into it again. But as we said, healing is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
You know, things you do at the spur of the minute are not the real ones.
Yeah.
So over time, with the healing, I mean, you start softening
Yeah.
and realizing life is not complete. You realize that you need somebody in this space, another one in this space.
Yeah.
And now I started loosening up and saying, yes, I think I can
maybe
try
I
it
can.
again.
Yeah.
I can try it again. But beside that, my family and my close friends were getting concerned and wondering now what is happening with this.
Because it was like how many years after?
Actually, it was after 2 years is when my family and friends started making some loud, I can't say noise, information, passing some loud information on me that now what do you think?
And even your mother?
Of course, my mother started a bit earlier. She started a bit earlier and she was really devastated and concerned about me. Yeah, so she started bringing out this thing a bit earlier.
Yeah.
But 2 years, 2.5 years, now my friends now started jumping in and other family members. And this family member of mine also came in, and I suspected my mother had confided with her. I really suspected because they are very close. They were very close.
Oh.
So this one day she tells me, please pass by our house for dinner. And she insisted, and because I respect her so really, I told her, yes, I'll pass. Then I was really very busy because I was in the Ministry of Agriculture then.
Right.
Yes. And so I gave in and went to her house for dinner. Before dinner, here comes this lady.
Yeah.
And somehow when she came, I just stood up. I don't know what made me to stand up.
You became like Adam.
Because there was no warning actually. So when she came, I stood up, I said hi, and we had introduction, conversation, dinner. Yeah. And after that, I think now things were starting to form in my mind. Yeah. Really, that there are good people around. Yeah. Yes. You know, when you, you can see through. Yeah. Let me tell you, nobody get you. People who fall into wrong company, it is not that they did not see it coming. It is easy to see if you take your time and be keen. Yeah. You can tell. You can read the heart of somebody. So for me, it was instant. I could tell this is a good lady. Yeah. I could read her heart straight away. Wow. And it was amazing. After dinner, I don't know, I thought I offered to give her a lift to, I forget things very fast. Yeah. But then I...
Were you given a lift?
Yes, he offered to give me a lift, but I was just thinking, oh my, this is too soon. I don't even know it. Yeah, so we just agreed that we'll meet next time. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I remember saying that before I was told about the number now.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Then, so something was ignited that I need to pursue this line. Yeah. And of course now my relative who had introduced us started giving me now more background information. Remember, she had not told me, so she started telling me, no, wait a minute. Yeah. This is...
it's a good girl.
This is a good girl. Yeah. This is a story. Yeah. So the more she told me about her background and what she had gone through,
the more you fell in love.
Yes.
The more you are falling in love.
Exactly.
You are thinking, I can wipe those tears.
Yes, yes. It came out so clearly that, yes, probably this is... and then again, because I have some close friends, very close friends, so having, of course, met a couple of times and really realized, I think this is the direction I'm taking. Yeah. Got then even the background information from herself, compared it with what my family member actually had told me. Yeah. it was getting clearer and clearer that I think
this is a good direction.
This is a good direction.
What were you thinking meanwhile when you were told that he's asking for your number?
Of course, the first impression is you're thinking, okay, okay, is this the time that God had said? And of course, I took time to pray. I told my friend, I need time to pray. I can't just give out my number like that. I need time to hear from God, because really, knowing my journey, I just decided to depend upon the Lord. I wasn't going to make another mistake again. Yes, I really needed to hear from God.
Yeah.
So I took time and prayed about it. So I think 6 months later, because he was also a very busy person. So 6 months later again, my friend says, we're going to have dinner with him. And I told myself, yeah, let's give it a try. Yeah, it won't cause any harm if we just go and have dinner.
Yeah.
And we went and had dinner. And I tell you, it was so amazing. There was already a connection.
Yeah.
I think where God is, things just fall into
they
place.
flow. So everything flowed.
Yes.
Yes, now during the dinner, after a while, this time in an hotel, not
yes, in a hotel, yes.
Aha.
Yes. Things for me, by then, I was more clearer that I think this is the direction I'm taking.
Yeah.
And again, I involved my close friends. Some of my friends, because of the history, background, this is a lady who had gone through divorce. What do you think? For me, that was even the main reason why, yes.
Yeah.
But many of my friends say, please go for it. Some of my friends knew her.
Yeah.
And told,
such a beautiful girl.
And told me that is a powerful woman of God. Please, you are not making a mistake.
Yeah.
So I really got the encouragement and the courage and the figure now to convince her that I think we can build something together. Yes.
And just before then, you asked me what I thought about that. I think the first thing I wanted my friend to do is to put cards on the table, to tell him about my history. Is he ready to marry somebody who had been through what I went through? Yeah. Was it right? You know, all those things. I really wanted him to know the background. Yeah, I just wanted to really have the cards on the table.
On the table.
Yes.
So that you're not, he's not getting shocked. What? You what?
Yes. Yes.
So he knew it all.
He knew it all,
and he's saying that's the reason he even wanted you more. You know, like
correct.
when he had the background. Yes. Yeah. Wow.
And then again, I think I was not ready to go for. I needed somebody mature. Here is a situation where I was also coming with a package of your children. Kids,
your grandchild,
my grandchild.
Yeah.
So to me, I was very clear that it has to be somebody who is mature, who would be a mother to my children. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it was fitting into the bill. And really, I think God was working His ways through us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you connected completely. Then after that, you were posted.
Yes, around 8 months later, I was posted. Elections came. Yeah. Actually, so that is why we didn't even interact much. Yeah. Because this is a time when elections were now, campaigns and knowing my position then, I was all over with the issues of campaign and what have you. Right. So it almost affected our relationship because really we were not
having time.
Yes, we were not having time. Yeah. And I think that's the time when he even got to understand me more. Yeah. And she knew what she was entering herself into.
you knew you had work ahead of you. A lot of work,
So it was at that period when a lot of work was happening. So it tested our relationship also. I think it was a good opportunity for the relationship to be tested. Elections came, new government comes in, posting happens. Here I am in New Delhi. Posted to New Delhi.
Now that's where you became the High Commissioner now of Kenya in New Delhi. Yeah.
Yes. And so by this time we were now an item. These are even her. Where they say
ameingia box. Alikuwa ndani ya box.
I can assure you by then alikuwa ako kwa box.
Yes. You're not even denying anything. You are inside the box and saying, take me where you want.
Yes.
Like baby Moses.
Yes.
Just Take me where you want.
So then she was in the box. So what immediately we did is to what you call ngurario. So as we are calling it koito. So we had to get my family and my close friends.
Your mother must have been laughing
she
with
was
her last tooth.
Yes. Every teeth was very clear.
Wow.
So we did the ngurario. I think it was in December. November. Yes. We did it in November. It was actually immediately after elections. I think. Yes, we did the ngurario. And then in January, that is when the posting happened. Yes.
Wow.
And so when the posting happens, normally there's a period where you go through training and what have you.
Right.
Yes. So it then we had to formalize this because now I needed to travel with
your newlywed.
Knowing where I come from also and the values instilled on. I didn't want to go to diplomacy with a companion. I wanted to go with a spouse.
A wife.
Yes, a wife.
Wow. So now it was time to
arrange for a quick wedding.
Ceremony.
Yes, ceremony.
And of course, you know, again, this is what I say, like when you're not young people, there's no need of taking forever. Trying to get what, even if there are just a few people there, you're good to go.
For me, I wanted 4 people.
For the wedding.
In the wedding. That was my...
4. Okay, 4 are few.
Too few.
That was my initial thought.
It was going to be fine. 4.
Yes, 4. We sign a witness, that's it.
Right.
But my friends could not allow that.
Yes. Even if I was your friend then, I would not have allowed
that.
They
could not allow.
And of course, even you.
And of course, yes, God answered my prayer because I didn't want 4 people. At least we needed to be around 80, 50. That was good.
Right.
So we compromised with my friends that it should be 50. But it ended up being around 100.
Okay.
Yes.
About 100.
About 100. Then we did a wedding in April.
Yes.
One day after my previous wedding was on the 23rd of April. This one was on the 24th.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It was one day after.
Without
knowing, because I wanted to do it so that we are ready to travel. Yes.
So it was without even calculating.
So
it just fell on that.
Yes.
Wow.
And I even did know, only for a friend of mine to say during the wedding that, you know what, we are hosting this wedding one day after the previous one, which we also did.
The same April. That's amazing. April 24th and 23rd.
23rd.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So it was.
So how are you feeling about now? Getting married, living. Was that big?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But apparently, I had all this peace in my heart. Because I was telling God, everything is happening too fast. But I realized it was all in God's plan. Yes, so I just fell into the whole program. And of course, having met him and knowing what kind of a person he is, very understanding, very loving, and I could see the way he was very committed to the whole thing. Yes, so of course I just flowed with what was going on.
Right. So now you relocated.
We relocated.
And went. Was that like, whoa, because first and foremost, India, when you get there, there is no blue sky.
Yes.
It is all
all covered by some white stuff.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
So was that shocking?
It was, and it was summer. In the middle of summer. The temperatures were hitting 48, 50.
Yes.
When we landed, it was, is this what we
signed up for?
Yes. It was not easy. But human body adjusts very fast. So we adjusted very fast and hit the ground.
So you hit the ground working. And I've been there and I've seen, man, the level of work is unbelievable. Everybody wants attention and to see you, and you know, wow, it's real work.
It's real
People
work,
think being a diplomat is a joke. It's not,
Yeah, sometimes you think it is, diplomacy is a bed of roses, but There's a lot of work.
There are thorns in those roses.
The responsibility is just enormous, knowing that you are representing the head of state in that country.
Yes.
So everything matters. Everything, the way you carry yourself, the way you do your job, whatever you do, it is not you.
And
you
every Kenyan.
And then taking care of every Kenyan, because nobody else must take care of a Kenyan in that country. It's
and
you.
they come in droves.
And
I
they
know.
come in droves. Some will not understand, and you really have to ensure that you satisfy all of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yours fell in place because you had started doing nursing and helping people in hospital here.
Yes.
So tell us how it fell in place there.
Yeah.
Because I know that, you know,
Yes.
you play a very big role.
Oh, yes. So I remember when we got there, of course, from this busy hospital administrator to a housewife.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, where do I begin? Of course, in a foreign country, the culture is different, the language is different, everything is so different. And of course, the first thing I did is to ensure that he had settled so that he's able to begin his work. So I remember one day sitting in the house and asking God, you brought me all this way. What do you want me to do? I think now I'm ready to serve you. You have really blessed me. What can I do for you? And I remember the answer came a few days later. A friend called me from Kenya and said, Faith, I have a patient in Apollo Hospital in New Delhi. And I thought, oh, okay. Then she says, please go and visit this patient for me. And I said, yeah, I will. And I made a way and I went. And I remember it was an amazing experience. Yeah, just talking to the patient, talking to that patient, encouraging them, praying with them. Apparently, I prayed with them. And after that, when I came back home, I had so much peace. And I remember sharing with my husband, and I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. This hospital ministry sounds good. And apart from seeing that one patient, this patient tells me, oh, there are other 5 Kenyans. So I went and I called the Kenyans and we all sat and talked, you know, just speaking Kiswahili in that foreign land, especially when you're not well. Yeah. And it was really, it was an experience. You feel at home. Yes. Yeah. It was such an experience. And I came back home and shared with my husband. And I really felt that's what I really needed to do. So until now, 4 years later, I do that twice a week.
And the ministry was birthed right there.
Exactly.
Of caring for patients, Kenyan patients in New Delhi.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, look at that experience in the hospital setting. Knowing all those things, I'm courageous. I thank God. We go sometimes with my husband for the hospital ministry because he's also busy. Yeah. So when he's available, we are able to go until even ICU. Remember, they call you wherever, and you go there, pray with them, encourage them. It's not easy. We have low moments sometimes, but we thank God because He's given us the grace. Yeah. So our ministry was birthed right there. Right there. Yes. That's amazing. Yes. That's amazing. That's amazing.
It is interesting, actually, because the first time she told me, I told her, how will you manage? So the only thing she told me is that I need facilitation in terms of transport. Yes. So that's all we did. I provided a vehicle for her and she could go. Yeah. Sometimes she would come very happy telling me these stories about hospital, this patient who is... Sometimes she comes very low. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Because the situation in hospital was very bad, was so bad. Yeah. Then she started taking me along. Yeah. On weekends, we could visit 1 or 2 hospitals. Yeah. Coming weekend with, until it, I came to realize something. There's nothing as coming through for somebody when he or she is at its lowest. Yeah. Exactly. There's nothing as that. Yeah. When you are there empathizing and talking to that person, especially at the lowest, not only at the lowest, in a foreign country.
They even get healed.
Actually, because of that. When you see the brightness in those patients, the satisfaction you can never imagine. Yeah. Yeah. So I also became interested. Yeah. So occasionally, even during the week, when she's going, I would go along if my program allows. Can you imagine? So it's an interesting...
and I know that some of them you even have hosted them in your own home.
Yes, yes. It graduated into that now. Yeah. Yes. Now, at some point, our house becomes almost like a ward. Yeah. Because you could be having 2-3 patients in the house. Yeah. Because Kenyans going to India, and this is something which I would want Kenyans to know also. It's not like it's a place where it is so easy. First thing, a caregiver is very important. Yeah, because here in India, the model is different. In Kenya, you go and you are admitted in a ward. In India, you are only admitted when there's a procedure being undertaken. The rest of the time, you are in an hostel or an hotel somewhere, nursing yourself. And so the issue of a caregiver is critical. But in some cases, our patients come without that knowledge. So some end up being alone in an hostel. The next thing we hear, here is a Kenyan sick in an hostel. So when you go and see the condition, you have no, you can't leave him there. We put him in the car, we put her in the car, we bring her to the house, until maybe when a caregiver comes in. Because it's not possible. You can't leave a Kenyan knowing the kind of situation.
That's amazing. I mean, that's so powerful. You know, even just that ministry, it's just extending the hand of God over God's people. That's really, really powerful. That's really powerful. I'm so glad you came on this show. I want Faith for you to tell a woman that's in that predicament right now and is waiting on God. You may be discouraged, maybe giving up and all that. Just look at this camera and just tell her what you yourself did and what they can do in their waiting period.
Thank you very much. I know you're there waiting, wondering what's happening, what's going to happen. The first thing I want to tell you is that make sure your relationship with God is tight. Go back to the Lord. You can always talk to the Lord. He's able to encourage you. And I just want to encourage you that be patient. I think the most important thing is to wait. Wait patiently. There's a song I love, Subiri Bwana. Take time and ask God to be with you. And also take time to heal and to forgive yourself and to forgive the situation that is there. I think that's a powerful message also, to just ensure that you forgive the other person, forgive yourself, and remember that God is a God of second chances. And He is able to turn your situation around like He did for me.
Amen. Glory to God. Balozi, can you please also look at the same camera and encourage a young man who is in the village right now? Where you started, that's where they are. But they've probably given up, or they don't even think anything good can ever come out of their life. So they've just resigned into being villagers. Could you please just tell?
Thank you, Reverend. I want to tell any young man or even an old man who is either there thinking the situation is so desperate that there's nothing you can do again in life. But remember, if God has given you good brains, hands, legs, everything is working so well for you, that is favor enough. The remainder of the work is on you. Focus, convince yourself that you can do it. If I did it, if somebody else did it, why not you? The only thing is, don't give up. Keep trying, keep working hard, focusing, and above all, put everything before God. Because without God, you can easily derail your ambition. But know that God is there to hold your hand until you succeed in everything you want for yourself.
Wow, I totally believe that God has blessed you. God is a God of second chances and third and fourth. Don't you ever give up on God. He always has a plan for your life. It's not how you begin. I want to let you know, though your beginning may be small, yet your latter end shall greatly increase. If God said it, I tell you, there is no man that can unsay what God has said. Who is it that says, and it comes to pass when the Lord has not commanded it? If God wants it, it's going to happen. So don't give up. Just know, the same way this wonderful couple have given this story to you, one day you will be sitting on this other side and giving somebody else a story how God raised you up. May God bless you. You're watching Woman Without Limits. I am Reverend Kathy Kiuna.